All right, so the next part, continuing from where I left off, I was suspicious that these wires had a lot of stiffness in this Volvo 740 fuel sender unit, especially when I was changing the fuel pump. I noticed there was a lot of corrosion on the two wires that I had to re-splice in there. So bought some new wire. I went with some 14 AWG PTFE wiring. The PTFE wiring was perfect for submersion into fuel, which is used on the fuel sending units that goes inside the tank. 14 AWG seems about what the original one was, so I went with that. It's silver coated copper stranded wiring. First off, this wire is just as stiff almost as that wire. A little bit more flexible, very stiff. A little bit more flexible, but stiff, very stiff. So I said, okay, let's measure it and see what we get. So I'm going to measure this orange wire, which has this length on it, on both points, and this is the resistance in that wire. That is a lot of resistance. So that's kind of interfering with, in my opinion, with the electric flow of things, maybe giving not so good readings and not so good measurements for activating, slowing things down basically. Now, of course, this is the original wire. So this is a 1990 Volvo. This wire is extremely old and it definitely has corrosion inside of it. When I take this off, I'm going to cut that open and see if that corrosion actually is in all of that wiring. I really am suspicious that it is, but I'm going to replace that. Let's check the resistance. I'm going to use this red wire because I couldn't find orange. I've already cut it to the exact length. Let's go ahead and measure that. So I've got my probes hooked up. I'm going to use the red wire as a replacement for the orange. It's already the exact same length as that orange wire that I'm replacing it with, and this is my resistance. Wow, that's a grand difference. So definitely this is going to allow electrical flow a lot cleaner, a lot better. It kind of fluctuates a little bit, so now it's going to 1 ohm. Before I think I had it down to 0.1, so it's kind of fluctuating a little bit. I think that's just because I don't have a solid connection on it. I need some alligator clips here. Anyway, I'm going to use that. I'm going to replace the wires. We're going to get a much cleaner flow. When I do it, I'm going to desolder my connections also here and put a nice clean solder. I'm also going to use down here, clean up all of that old solder and corrosion and everything. I'm going to be making sure that I put some heat shrink tubing over that so we don't spark anything or what have you. I found some really good heat shrink tubing from a company called Master Car. Let's go ahead and do that. Master Car. They have a whole lot of heat shrink tubings, and the one that I chose was one that's designed for use inside of fuel or with fuel. So this is heat resistant, fuel resistant as well. So the diesel resistant, flexible tubing. So this is awesome. I got a size appropriate to go into my 14 AWG. This will shrink, I think, 4 times. So this will be just enough to go over my soldered wire, over my regular wire, and when I apply heat, it should look good. So the next video that will be coming should be these wires replaced.